If you're an Amazon.com shopper, you can help Southgate Media Group out by visiting southgatemediagroup.com. There you'll find a link to log into your Amazon account, and a % of your purchase will go to help support all the shows on Southgate Media Group. We also offer Patreon if you prefer that way, and any way you can help, we appreciate. Now, thank you, and enjoy the show.
This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
It's a bird! It's a plane!
This is Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action. This is Mark Wade, writer of Superman Birthright, and you're listening to
the All Things Kryptonian podcast, including Superman and Supergirl.
We discuss games, movies, cartoons, TV shows, and comics.
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.
Welcome to the Krypton Report. I am Tyler, the Superman of Blue, the Man of Tomorrow, and this special episode is brought to you by the kind people of Amazon.
Obsidian North?
Amazon. Obsidian North. Shop Amazon for all your Southgate Media needs by going to our website. And that beautiful voice you hear is the lovely, not Jania, but James. Hey, James. The Man of Steel himself.
I think Jania's got a better voice than me. But
and in the background is Solomon and Selah. So it's a full house, sort of, but not with the Tanners. Anyways, what a fun week it has been for me and for James, and life has just been, chaotic. Because to be honest with you, where did this week go? Because I feel like this week was just starting and now it's over.
it flew by. This week absolutely flew by.
I feel like something is just crazily off. But
It makes me feel like I've missed something this week, and I'm sure I have because I do most weeks, but still.
right? So there wasn't a whole lot of news, or because this week also included April 1st, I'm not including a lot of stuff because you never know. But for example, we're going to talk about Supergirl's season 6 premiere tonight, and I'm not going to mention like too in detail, but there was some stuff posted about a bunch of people who were fans of Superman and Lois like boycotting Supergirl just because they were mad. And I was like, that's idiotic, first of all, and that's poor fandom and just wrong. I mean, the network does this with shows all the time. We know this. And yes, would I have really liked to have just watched Superman and Lois straight and had Supergirl? Yes. But the CW does what it does. So they're gonna kind of put their shows to try to do what they can. Also, this is Supergirl's last season. So
Well, it's kind of, I mean, they brought on Supergirl because production halted on Superman and Lois because of somebody testing positive for COVID. So everybody had to quarantine and shut down for a couple of weeks.
COVID. You mean that thing that
and then
screwed
they
up
started,
everything that people just need to get
yeah,
some slack to?
that still exists in the world that people think is gone after a year,
It was like, we made it the year.
or never believed it existed to begin with.
So
But yeah, so they shut down production for a little while. So in part, it's to give room for production's sake for both Supergirl and Superman and Lois. Supergirl's in the middle of production, and so is Superman and Lois.
and it also just gives us continual content. It's like, seriously, people, would you rather just watch reruns, or they're trying to give us content at the same time so they can get out what they want, because everybody knows that this season has been off for everything. So, I mean, just relax, people.
Yeah. And it fits closer to the model of what we've talked about having some programming year round,
Yeah.
Shorter seasons, year round programming, more focused stories. Yeah.
So I don't know. I just get tired of I'm just tired of fan people hating on everything. you can't make anyone happy. And then if you are happy, there's something wrong with you, and you're wrong for being happy and enjoying something, no matter what it is. I mean, it's gotten out of hand. Like,
yeah. I mean, I may be too easy to please, but that's because, that's partly because I don't go into something expecting something. I don't let, my expectations weigh down, like I didn't make this. My expectations have no bearing whatsoever on the product. Like, come on. When people's theories don't pan out in a show, they can boycott the show.
mm-hmm.
Or if they don't like a portrayal of well, you know what? I'm sure there's another portrayal you do like. Go watch that one then. There's no reason you have to always tear down and boycott this and cancel that. It's it's scary to say, but it hasn't even reached its peak yet, I'm sure.
I mean, we should just be glad we're getting
fandom
so much.
is
Remember,
absolutely.
Remember when Smallville was the only show we had?
Yeah.
And remember how we would get excited that there'd be 2 comic book movies in 1 year?
Right.
And now we're getting
4 DC comic book movies next year, and probably about the same Marvel movie.
Exactly. So
from Marvel.
Calm down, people. Calm down. So I'm tired of it. Anyways. So the other thing that happened, let me pull this up here, back to my notes, because that's what I do, is we got Zack Snyder sent out like the alternate take or alternate scene in the black and white gray version of the Joker doing the "We Live in a World" line. So that was something.
Yeah, we live in a society. I like how I like how the flow of the conversation in that scene, that clip, works really good, because it's not just a "we live in society" line like it was taken from the trailer. I mean, like it has a purpose, going back to having the verbal sparring match that Batman and Joker are having in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to push each other over the line.
So that was something. And then the last thing that kind of popped out of nowhere was we got the second trailer for The Suicide Squad, and it was a more general audience trailer. And yeah, I liked it. Like, it was good. I mean, it showed a couple of scenes from the trailer that we already have, watched, but mostly it was new footage, and I thought that was pretty crazy, considering we just got a trailer. But it makes sense. You would think that there'd be like the red band and then the edited version of the red band. But no, it's a pretty new trailer. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. They showed some of the scenes. They edited a couple of scenes down to make them PG. Voiceover edits, cut it off before it gets bad, that type of stuff. But
Hi, James.
I'm excited for the movie. Hello. I'm definitely excited for the movie. I'm glad to see some more from it. It looks pretty chaotic. It's edited specifically, I'm sure, to kind of make you confused at who's on what mission and who's doing what at what point in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to see some more. What's his face? Boomerang. And
we got to see Boomerang. Well, because in the Red Band trailer, when you notice, when you hear Flag talking about they're saving Harley at the beginning, and it seems like they're talking to Waller, that's a completely different mission, because what Waller sees is everybody on the helicopter, And what we see on the helicopter is we see all the people from the first lineup, with Savant and Blackguard and Weasel and whatnot, Javelin. And you see Harley in that group of them as well. So, like, you know, you don't know who's on what team, who's going where, who's the second team coming in. Like, you just don't know. It's edited that way for a reason.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, you know,
I'm looking forward to it.
And the fact that I'll just throw this out there that James Gunn is from, you know, having been working with and for Marvel. We know that Marvel is really big on tampering and editing trailers to give appearances of one thing when that's really not what it is, just so that we as audience members don't figure things out. So yeah.
Yeah, well, the way they changed the trailers for like Infinity War and crap, that kind of upset me because I was hoping to see things. Like, it's different. And same thing with they did with, you know, on the other side when they used all the Joker footage in the trailers for Ayer's Suicide Squad. And, you know, none of that footage was in there, or it was altered, or it was different takes, or it was reshoots and stuff.
Yeah, but we know how that happened. Marvel is very tight.
Yeah.
They control their product. So
I mean, it was misleading on DC side for that, but Marvel over there when they edit it to could be completely something different. I mean, I love how Deadpool shot stuff just for the trailer.
Now that's cool.
Because they wanted to make fun of the fact that Marvel did that.
Yep.
You know, for Deadpool 2, they added that stuff. It was specifically made for the trailer and was never going to be in the movie. And they did it because Marvel completely altered footage from their movies and showed you something that was never going to be in it because it was just straight lying to you.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, I mean I'm fine with that in that style of. I like that trailer. You know, it's cool because I got to show the kids and they're all excited, and it just sucks because I'll have to watch this and then wait for it to come out on video and then edit some and watch, and it's just a long process.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before you're able to let them watch that. I don't even think I'm going to let my kids watch it just yet. Depend on how. The violence is one thing, but the content,
it's funny when my kids ask me
how gory it gets, and like, I mean, Harley has the splooging line, so I mean, how graphic is that going to get as well?
You know, it's funny because my kids will be like, "Dad, can I watch this?" No. Has it got blood in it? Well, yeah. Oh, okay. And they're like, "But okay, why can't I watch it?" Because there's stuff in it that you just don't understand yet. That's not for you. Like what, Dad? You don't understand it, child.
You don't understand. I can't tell you. It's not.
Just trust, Daddy. Like that. What I'm telling you is truth. Like you can't watch it right now. So, and then I mean, I guess the other thing is like, and I'm not holding this as like big news because I'm actually pretty disappointed that they did this. Well, just the whole like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson revealing like the release date for Shazam in Times Square and making a big deal out of it. And I'm just not really okay because how that can change. You know what I'm saying? In a blink of an eye, we'll all of a sudden have that's been altered and changed and is not there. So I'm not, you know, getting all like excited because they announced the Shazam release date. You know, if it had been Shazam, like Dwayne Johnson in costume, would have been different. So I just think that would have worked out a lot better.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of cool how they did the Times Square thing, though. Took over all the billboards in Times Square and put it up everywhere.
Yes,
that was a pretty dope release.
I mean, I love what they did.
Or reveal, yeah.
But I just wish that it was something more, because at this point in time, like, a date really means nothing, especially with DC films.
Right. I'm curious as to what his suit is definitely curious to what his suit is going to look like, because the guy needs no suit.
Yeah. I mean,
he doesn't need muscles sewn into the suit at all.
I agree completely. I don't want just a black version of the Shazam suit, but I want it to be very similar to the Shazam suit. Maybe like the same kind of material look as the main body, but then some alterations and differences, just because it's supposed to fit in that same vein with, the Shazam suit. Like, so, and we already saw the Shazam family, so we know how their suits look. So I just want to see it very similar to them. You can do some differences, but... And last, we just got confirmation that Stargirl Season 2 has wrapped filming and that it will premiere this summer, which is awesome that it's wrapped,
Yeah, we knew it was premiering this summer, but I don't think we have a date yet. But
I figured you.
Yeah, to know that it's complete means, that we won't necessarily have to or need to get a break.
Just like, we're sitting here talking about the Superman and Lois and Supergirl conundrum, you really won't have that because, ta-da!
Yeah, it's all done.
So if there's any break, it's because they choose to for some reason.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, something else that's not DC related, but I'm excited about is The Witcher Season 2 wrapped filming in the UK on March 30th. So I'm really excited for that.
Me too. It's so crazy to feel like The Witcher came out in 2019.
Well, I guess it is DC related because Henry Cavill's Superman. So
yes, he is. Let's see what else. So I guess Black Lightning right now is at its mid-season. I didn't realize that until I looked it up. Batwoman's kind of at its mid-season right now. They introduced Black Mask, and this isn't like really spoilers or anything, but the episode felt really weird because now all of a sudden they're focusing on the Gotham police. And I've been saying all along, like, where's the GCPD?
Yeah, right.
And then Flash had an interesting episode. And one thing I really kind of sat back and thought as I've watched these shows is, people are complaining about the quality and stuff, and I get it. But at the same time, how much is that COVID impact? You can't have as long of hours or the proximity of the actors, how close they can be. You have to film stuff at certain angles and ways so that they don't, come in contact. Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, how much of what we're kind of complaining about is because of COVID and the rules of filming that go around that?
Yeah.
It's just a thought to throw out
it's just
there.
Another thing to complain about, you know what I mean? It's another thing. People are complaining about everything. Back to what we were discussing about so many toxic fans all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, it just gets to you after a while. But let's get into Supergirl here. Like, it's nice that she's back.
Yeah. One thing before, we go, you talked about the GCPD over on Batwoman. It's funny because we talk about it. We've talked about it offline, but it's funny how we're talking about that and it reflects what they've gone into in Batman stories in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Season 1 of Batgirl and what they're doing with Season 2 and the lack of GCPD and that type of stuff. Anyways, Supergirl. Supergirl's back. Season 6.
So Season 6, this is just like I said about the Flash. To me, this episode is actually the end of Season 5.
Absolutely.
So whenever I go back and I'm watching each season, I will count this as the end of season.
Yeah. Well, when you go back and you're able to binge it, you know what I mean? It'll feel more cohesive. as an end of season 5, not a beginning of season 6, because, I mean, jumping to the end, not spoiling it, but the way they end the episode is kind of how you can do TV, which they don't always do on shows anymore, leaving it at a cliffhanger when you know that you have another season coming. The CW, they prematurely order everything to a next season long before the season even airs, or long before the season's close to ending. So the fact that, they know that a season's coming, they could do more of that, leaving off on a cliffhanger to bring you back for the next season.
Which is nice, just because I think earlier
they don't do TV that much anymore.
Well, like you said, it's sometimes it's hard, because if you don't know you have a next season, I think early renewals or cancels should be done about mid-season, just so that if you're not put in something like a what do you call it, like Krypton, where you're building up something and you get canceled thinking you're going to get a third season, and now everything's just left open and everyone's really upset.
Yeah.
So, I would really like them to be able to work on doing something where, just give them the time to tell the stories they need to. But this episode, okay, so one thing I noticed first of all, okay, it's interesting just comparing it to how cinematic in the lighting and cinematography Superman and Lois is, compared to how Supergirl is. It's just one of those things where you're like, okay, I see what you did here, but I find that I'm missing that kind of higher quality look, and I wish we were getting that for Supergirl.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Supergirl's a lot brighter, more colorful. The CGI is not quite up to par, but then again, they are doing a little bit more CGI than they were using in the Superman and Lois show so far, just because, it's the beginning of season 6 or the end of season 5. I mean, the escalation of what needs to be happening on screen, for one, takes up more money. Because so the quality goes down a tad when you have to generate more.
Yeah, I mean, because this episode, like we said, is the beginning. Basically, this would have been your cliffhanger finale for last season. And it didn't happen. So, and, we all know why. So I'll roll with it. I ain't upset, whatever.
No, I'm not mad at it. There was a decent amount to enjoy. I didn't, we've talked about Life. We tried to record a couple of times this week. Luckily, we just kind of get it when we can.
Yeah, it's life.
But with Life, I haven't gotten a chance to watch the quote unquote final episode of last season. So that way I'm caught up on what's happening. I have a general idea of what's going on, but, we get into this and I know what's happening to Brainy, and then he talks about the anti-life equation, which I remember them saying something about last year, but I also don't recall exactly what they were using it for,
right,
or what they, so I'm a little lost, unfortunately. Everything makes sense. I'm just a little lost as to how they're utilizing this stuff for this show right now.
Oh, I agree with you, because the first thing that came to my mind when they said the anti-life equation, I was like, did they talk about that? Like, I feel like I would have remembered that. And I just kind of felt like, did they bring that up? Why don't I remember this? Like, that's a big deal. Like, a really big deal. So I felt like I missed something, and I was like, I should have went back and watched the last of last season. I just been busy and didn't think about it. But the title, okay, I want you to think about it. Don't answer just yet, okay? The title of this episode is Rebirth. Think about what you think that means, and we'll get back to it after we discuss the episode. Okay? Because this starts off with Brainiac's dying, Mia's, working to save him. She does kind of a
Ganymede showing up,
out of body experience to, sends her essence, being, whatever, to where he is.
Yeah, she has an astral projection, just like.
I kept sitting there like, what is the word? What is the word, Tyler? You know this. What is it? And I'm like, racking my brain, feeling stupid because I'm like, I know this. Astral projection. Gosh.
Yeah, astral projection. There's a lot of different forms of astral projection, but her form in this kind of is a mixture of kind of the two, where like she's a disembodied projection of herself, but then she also does open the door, so she does have she can manifest a physical projection, which is like how they did it in Charmed when Prue got her astral projection powers. Okay. She was physically in another place when she astral projected. So kind of a mix of the two more common ones, where it's a disembodied projection and where you have a physical manifestation.
I liked it, and I was just like, okay, like this is cooking. Like, we got that right at the start. I totally felt like I should have watched because, we have the techno ladies, oh my god, looking like the Superman 3. We had the anti-life equation.
Right.
We have the Martian biomed. And then the title card kind of felt the same as it has been, but yet reminded me a little bit more of the Superman and Lois, just the way it's done. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then we get like the episode kicks into high gear. Like Lex has powers. He wants to be Earth's savior. He's going to fix the planet like the Anti-Monitor.
Yeah, that's cool how he got powers, though. How Brainy shrunk the gods, the Leviathan gods, and Lex took the bottle that they were shrunk into and used it in his machine and absorbed their powers.
I mean, this Lex is the best.
Yeah, he is.
We find out that he has a backdoor program called I Love Lexi that was in the VR. That anyone who doesn't get the upgrade, or in 5 hours the satellites are going to kill them with the kill frequency. And he's going to take over everyone's mind that way using the VR and the stuff that Lena set up. And I just thought to myself, like, this kind of technology kind of reminds me of like Kingsman. Where you've seen Kingsman, right?
Yeah.
Where they have
once. I've seen it once.
What? Dude, I love Matthew Vaughn's directing. Where they just have the whole, like, the pitch goes off, and if you don't, like, it makes you go crazy, and people are rioting, killing people. So I'm like,
yeah, I see. Yeah, I recall that. Yeah.
He's doing like either you love Lex or you die.
Basically, yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, he wants to be able to do anything and get away with it because everybody loves him and nobody can believe he's up to no good.
Yeah, I mean, skipping ahead, we get when he's arrested, like Lex Luthor was a bad guy, and it's so funny just to say, but then of course, we have to think, oh, this is post-crisis when everyone thought.
Yeah, he was a humanitarian and stuff.
Lex was a goodie.
Yeah, pre-crisis, he was charged with crimes against humanity because he turned the sun red.
That wouldn't have effects on the world.
Exactly. That's why the crimes against humanity, like, that's the end of the world, not just the end of the Kryptonians. It's the end of the world.
It's interesting because we have Lillian basically make him say, "You can't kill your sister. You can't kill Lena." But then I thought,
She killed me first.
Did we ever get confirmation?
Why not? She killed me first.
Did we ever get confirmation? It felt like Lillian killed Lionel. But I don't, like, just the way she says it, and I'm like, do we ever get that in this series? Like, confirmation that she killed? Because it just felt like it the way she was talking, and she makes the reference about, she's like your father did. So, I was like,
Yeah, she said something about how your father died. I don't know.
And I was just kind of like, I don't remember. Can't wait to do that huge, massive Supergirl rewatch.
I was just like, well, how did Lex's father die? Did he push him out of a window?
And did you say, like, did it sound like that? But, something like that. We get, we learn that the gold eyes means you love Lex. And we see Dreamer have a vision of Lex basically in the suit of the Anti-Monitor. We learn about the I can't pronounce whatever the weakness is to the Leviathan gods. Something with geranium. Interesting, but I like seeing Miss Martian back and her and Jean working together. That's always awesome. They have to do some big Martian meld of like complete openness to be able to move the satellites to get everything where they need to be for positioning.
Yeah, I think they called it a binding, like a complete, 100% meld. Like everything is 100% shared, nothing is hidden. So something you would never tell anybody or speak to anybody about, she's gonna know it, and vice versa.
So that was like gave them something to do. The pacing for this episode is very like, it's the ticking clock. You gotta do this, you gotta do this, we got this to do. So it was
the Martian designs in this are still so good.
Of course. I love
he still looks better than this Martian design still, for the most part, looks better than Martian Manhunter did in Zack Snyder's, I think.
I'm gonna tell you
Not
right
that
now,
that was bad at all. I just prefer this one a little bit more to that one.
I'm still wrestling with the Martian Manhunter from Snyder Cut. It was awesome, like, yay, awesome. And then the more I thought about it, I'm like, I kind of composed a whole scene because Brian and I were talking about it. And I was like, man, if they wanted to make Swanwick Martian Manhunter, I'm like, you could have done it in a really cool scene. And this is my pitch, okay? You have Star Labs. Swanwick is at Star Labs for some reason. We'll write it in, okay? The parademons are attacking, whatever, and what happens is they open a portal that they were experimenting on, and they basically pull Jean from Mars into the lab. Swanwick's on the ground. John reads his mind, trying to understand what's going on. He fights and destroys the parademons that are there. Swanwick dies in Jean's arms, and as he's dying, Jean takes Swanwick's form, having read and kind of copied his memories. So now we have Swanwick / Harry Lennox as Martian Manhunter without trying to retcon 2 movies previous, and give us a scene that was a great Martha and Lois moment that kind of gets undercut, and at the same time you're like, Swanwick could have done some of the similar dialogue. So
I was thinking
it's just kind of rolled with, like, I've just in the back of my mind.
I was thinking the undercutting thing, like, what if he had that same conversation as both Martha and Lois with Lois and Martha? You know what I mean? Like another scene where, so that way he has the perspective from both sides, has the conversation, helps them both out.
That would have been really cool. But that's just Martian Manhunter discussion, because he's a big part of this show, and I like his suit a lot. We learned that Lena uses Myriad, and Supergirl trusts her. Supergirl is going to risk herself and sacrifice. Andrea, is being blamed by her father, and she misses basically like selling her soul for the company, and it's going to go bankrupt.
Yeah, sold her soul to Leviathan for it. Yeah.
We get a great Kara and Lena scene inside the fortress. Alex borrows the teleport watch, which I thought was cool. Because we got really great scenes with people like Alex and Kara.
Oh, there's a lot of good scenes. With like you said, Alex and Kara.
Raina and Lena
borrowing. What did Alex borrow? And then they're like, yeah, tell that to every graphic tee since since high school or whatever.
Her watch or portal watch or something.
Oh yeah, the portal watch, when she borrows the portal watch. That's pretty cool how they've got a couple of those going around. Lena travels via the portal watch, and Alex does, and Lena uses the portal watch and Myriad and goes and wipes Lex and Lillian's minds.
I loved it. At the end, you have Lex in jail, and Lena just shows up as they're sitting there talking, and Lex is talking to Lillian, and Lena shows up and just wipes their mind because one of the things they say is, Lex knows Supergirl's secret, and what are we going to do?
Yeah, and they're like, you're never going to take me to jail. I know I'd reveal her as Kara Danvers.
And she's like, what about, Kelly? To Alex.
And then Lena gets to deck Lex, which is really nice.
And she says, are you going to do that? Did you want to do that? And
Alex, no, family first.
Family first. But I love that when Lena gets back, she says, here's Myriad, but I used it one more time. And they're like, and she's like, I erased Lex and my mom's memory so they don't know Supergirl's identity. She was honest.
Which is really cool.
This is Lena's redemption, right here.
Yeah, she's going to be part of the team this year.
Good.
Yeah, I like how they talked in this. Kelly doesn't know that Kara is Supergirl, and it's a plot device. It's a plot point. Alex is with Kelly. She doesn't know that Kara is Supergirl, and Lena's trying to, and it's all of it is helping Lena understand that they didn't tell her for her protection and for everybody else's protection, because if it slips up, the identity comes out, enemies, family, things like that are open. They're exposed.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that you don't think about, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? Maybe they were right by what they did. So it was great because I like Lena. I like her character.
Yeah, Katie McGrath is great.
Awesome. She's awesome in this. We have Kara and Lex fight, and he basically kryptonite poisons her. And then as soon as we get a really cool scene of just Kryptonian words coming up, and it basically says that Project Lexi has been stopped and destroyed by Lena. And then a little bot flies in and gives Kara the spacesuit, healing suit, and some sun rays to kind of get the Kryptonian poisoning out. And we have a big, battle inside the fortress. So you can't go wrong with a good battle inside the fortress.
Yeah. Got a big, goofy CG looking Lex, but he's flying, he's got powers, he's creating shields, and they're blasting the shield, heat visioning the shield and punching it and all this stuff and shooting it.
Which, yeah, they're, I get it. Sometimes you just gotta let things go. The budget is what it is,
Absolutely. It's a show. It's fake. It's a show. It's what you're expecting. To get these shots flying in the air and the camera rotating around the people and things like that. It's not like they have the budget that Zack Snyder did and had the green screen and the rotating cameras on the tracks, multiple shots, and you can just create the entire world.
Exactly. Lighten up, people. I know. We got Lex singing "We Are the Champions" in the fortress, playing with stuff before Kara stands up to him as her, repaired self.
Yeah, everybody comes in. McGann, John, Dreamer, Alex, Lena, and Supergirl in her spacesuit.
And Lex grabs the Phantom Zone projector, and Alex goes to stop him and accidentally shoots the Phantom Zone projector as Lex hits it and sends Kara to the Phantom. So that's where Kara is right now. As this ends, she's in the Phantom Zone. They don't know where because the thing was damaged. They don't have the coordinates to where she was sent, the Phantom Zone. This could help explain why she hasn't been seen or anything on Superman and Lois, but at the same time, there's not even been dialogue on that show about Cousin Kara.
Yeah.
It's a little bothersome, but whatever. Moving on. It was nice to see Otis back. I totally forgot he was back. I saw him. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what happened to him last? I can't remember last time I saw Otis.
We find that William Day publishes his article for Catco on Lex as a villain, and he wants to give Kara the byline, but Kara is gone. She got a scoop with Cat and is gone. And William's a little upset because Kara didn't tell him.
Nah. Andrea, she uses her powers and she goes to her dad's office and uses his computer to buy up all her shares of Obsidian. So he's saddled with the whole bankruptcy and everything of Obsidian North, and she reinvests into Catco.
I was trying to figure out what all happened because right as that scene had started, I saw her teleport into her father's house, and then Sayla yelled for me, and I just jumped up to help her, and then I missed the next beat, and then later she says, my father got my shares, and I was like, okay. And then I didn't think
Yeah, she got on his
it.
computers, and it was buy Obsidian or something like that on the display. And I think she said, I'm sorry, Dad, or something, and then it cut. And then next thing you see is she's talking about Catco and that it's her father's problem, Obsidian, because before everything was, just like last night or something, he bought all the shares. So you know that she did that to him.
He's old, whatever.
Right, and he seems like a pretty terrible father.
Yeah. So he's old. Too bad. Haha. Anyways.
We get a good scene between Brainy and Lena.
Mm-hmm.
They're working in Lena's lab.
It was good stuff to just everyone kind of getting their moment together to kind of help just build up where the team is going to go and be for the next year.
Right.
With Lena being
it's nice
active.
to see it's nice to see the really intelligent people, the scientific people, like Lena and Brainy, working together, but also that this is, they're both working on redemption, because Brainy was working with Lex last season, and he confessed what he was doing.
He's
what he was doing and why.
Thinking he could be close, and right when the time was right, he could stop Lex.
Yeah.
That's not.
And Brainy admires the keystrokes that went into creating I Love Lexi, the programming keystrokes, and it was Lena's work that Lex used for his own game. Mm-hmm. So Lena created it.
He just altered it.
Mm-hmm. So they had a really good, because I've enjoyed Jesse Rath more since he got rid of the inhibitors.
Yes.
I know went from that goofy one to more of a stable character, experiencing his emotions and things.
I agree.
So he's done a lot better the last season, and in this episode, especially his scene with Katie. Katie is really good.
So the last big thing that happened is there's two kind of last big things that happened. One is Alex gets basically a code name, and it's kind of a Martian hero that Jean tells her the story of as Sentinel. And he shows her, like, this was her symbol, now it is yours. And he puts her thing, like, with the quote-unquote Justice League. That little thing they had made that, you know, they're never going to use because, you know, everybody's basically gone.
Right.
And then the last thing is we see Kara basically laying in the phantom zone with, like, I guess phantoms coming around her.
Yeah, phantoms, wraiths, something like that.
And that is the end of the episode. So, James, I ask you, what do you think it meant by Rebirth?
Oh, geez. So I don't know.
I don't either. I mean, my biggest stretch is like Lena.
I would see next episode being maybe Rebirth or something when they get her out.
Right. That's what I would think. You know, kind of back to when the Flash escaped the Speed Force, where he was like Speed Force prison, and it was called Rebirth. But this one's called Rebirth, and the only thing I think of is something with maybe Lena, because she seems to be the character that kind of changed her position.
Lena and Brainy, kind of.
So, but I just feel like when you say that term in comics, like it's a big for DC Comics. You don't just flatly throw around Rebirth.
Yeah. Well, with this, when you kind of look at it, I mean, you got Lena changing position, you got Brainy, you know, coming to terms with what he did and has to move forward, and then you've also got Andrea changing kind of her position, what she was doing last season and what she's investing in going forward. And that's all I can really see.
Right.
That I can recall.
Oh, that really makes sense. So that is this episode of Supergirl. I enjoyed it. It was good to see her back. It was good to have fun. It just kind of felt good to be back in her world, and this episode was just, I mean, it's probably the best of the returning show's premiere. Yeah. I would say so. Out of the 4 shows that have returned, it's the best one's premiere.
I can only say out of 2 that I've seen. Out of the 2 that I've seen, I agree. It's better. Which Batwoman is the other one that I saw season return. Supergirl's was better.
You know, you can really kind of compare.
Then again, it was kind of. I was gonna say. Then again, it's kind of big because it was doing what was going to be ending last season.
Mm-hmm. And that's the same thing with like Flash. Is like it was kind of, you know, the first few like this one was the one episode like to wrap up last season because they were only like one episode off, and I wonder too.
I think so.
I wonder how much of this they actually filmed, and how much of this was maybe already done, because you know when the shutdown happened, like they were filming the last episode or had filmed it, and it was like a post-production issue or something. So they kind of conjured, you know, they used some pieces and stuff to make it. So I wonder if this was all new footage or if some of this had already been in place from last year. But, you know, Flash did a small, 4-episode arc, 3 or 4 episode arc to round up last season.
Yeah, I could have swore you and Brian said 3.
It could be. Yeah, I think so. I think it was 3 episodes, and then the one that just happened was episode 5. Yeah, that's what it is.
Actually, that makes me think I'm gonna have to catch up. I'm gonna catch up on the Flash and talk to Bella, and we'll catch up on Batwoman. That way, at least I'm caught up on another show.
So,
I don't know if I'll get Black Lightning in this weekend
Black
to
Lightning's
catch
like,
up.
That's like the one I watch like in the mornings, like when I get up like early. I'm kind of just waking up by myself. I'm like,
Yeah.
Black Lightning. You know,
Well, actually, you know what? I don't think I even finished season 3 on Netflix. So I'm farther behind on Black Lightning than I recalled.
see, Batwoman returns April 11th, and it is like the lowest rated show of these shows on IMDb. Like it's crazy.
What, Black Lightning?
No, Batwoman.
Oh, Batwoman. Oh.
Like Black Lightning is a 6.1, and it's right. Supergirl's a 6.2. Legends is a 6.8. Flash is a 7.7. Stargirl's a 7.3. Arrow was a 7.5. But Batwoman is a 3.4.
Oh, man. Well, you know, things they did last season were pretty controversial among Bat fans, and then creating a new character this season. I know of somebody personally who, between last season and creating a new character, hasn't been watching it, and that was his show. That was the show he watched on the CW. Now he's not watching any because of it.
Yeah, we're not going to spoil anything, but some of the choices they've made is really bizarre. But we're going to put a pin in it and let it, kind of end here. We could go on for a while. We got other things to do with life, and
yeah, it took us a couple of days to get this down, so in just a few more days we'll be watching episode 2. Looking forward to talking about that one.
I agree. So thank you for listening to this episode of the Krypton Report. I'm Tyler. This is James. And good night.
Look up in the sky.
Look up in the sky.
Look in the sky.